Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JZ Courtside, coming at y'all for the first time this NBA season on Saturday, June 6th. I told y'all 10 times over this week that there will be a Saturday stream. There was just no way we couldn't when game 2 was on a frisky Friday. So, guys, here we are. Happy Saturday. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. You guys already know the agenda for today. We're going to be talking about last night's game, breaking it down, and talking about everything that I saw last night and what we could see potentially moving forward. Now, I do have a wedding meeting with the wedding planner immediately after today's podcast, so you're not going to see me waffle as much as I normally do, all right? But I would like to thank you guys for being here on a bright and early Saturday morning. Let's just get right into it. Well, what do you say? I think I'm just down to get right into this. We're only talking about the game today, all right? And overall, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind everybody, the podcast during the summer, during the off season, is going to be predominantly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern, unless something were to happen on a Monday night. Like, let's say, the Pistons get Kawhi Leonard, Devin Booker, and Victor Wembanyama all in a 4-team trade. If that happens on a Monday night, then yes, we will also do a podcast Tuesday morning. All right. And don't worry, I got plenty of plans lined up all summer long. We're going to be talking about every single team all summer long. So Grizzlies fans, Kings fans, I know you guys are out there. We will be discussing y'all this offseason. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just get right into today's show. You guys already know the New York Knicks lead in the NBA Finals 2-0. Knicks steal both games on the road. Final score of this one was 105-104. And if you were here at all throughout this NBA season, everything I said leading up to this point has come true. Everything I've said has come true. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know what I like to start with. I like to start with the New York Knicks. Let's talk about the Knicks. Let's talk about things that stand out. First and foremost, this is going to go under the radar, right? This is going to go super under the radar. People really aren't going to talk about this, right? But moments like this in the NBA mean a lot more than you might think they do. When Karl Anthony Towns, in one play, I believe in the third quarter, he did a pump fake at the three-point line, got Wemby jumping, and he drove past Wemby, dunked on him, and screamed in Wemby's face. That energy is what wins championships. Chet Holmgren not showing one lick of emotion all series long. That's how you lose in the playoffs. Cat showing you that amount of energy is everything I needed to know about how this series would have gone. Now, we saw somewhat of the same thing transpire in this game that happened in game 1. And let me explain. It only happened a quarter earlier. So as you all remember, the San Antonio Spurs in game 1, they only managed to score 40 points in the second half. In the third and fourth quarter, they only managed to score 40 points. And that's why they choked that lead and lost in game 1. All right. Now in game 2, they did the same exact thing, except this time they only scored 40 points between quarters 2 and 3. So I want to talk about why this keeps happening to the San Antonio Spurs. And it's quite simple. Every time you see the San Antonio Spurs struggle, it's because they're playing this exact play style that I said yesterday. Give the ball to Wemby and inshallah. Inshallah. Which again, I have to repeat myself. Inshallah means if God's willing. They are just giving Wemby the ball and saying, please do something. Please do something. And when the Spurs came back late in the game, which we will talk about, they came back. And then all of a sudden, give the ball to Wemby and inshallah, that's it. That's all. That's all we saw what the Spurs are doing. So I got to talk about the Knicks. First and foremost, and I said it in the watch party last night on my Discord server. If the series ended today, who is your finals MVP? Undisputed. There's one name that should be said from Knicks fans, from non-Knicks or Spurs fans. There's one guy that if the series were to end today, it should go to. And it should not be anybody else other than this one guy, Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns, the man who I've been praising all playoffs long because he's been entirely a different player. Entirely a different player. And credit goes to Mike Brown. A lot of the credit goes to Mike Brown. The reason why the Knicks were struggling all regular season, it's not that they weren't trying. It's not that they turned it on in the playoffs, because that's not true. Mike Brown looked at Cat and said, how can we get you involved? How can we get you involved in the game? How can I get you to not sulk and commit dumb foul after dumb foul? And it was get him involved offensively. Use him as an offensive hub, right? And Anthony, big Knicks fan, said effort was definitely a problem. Yes, because Cat is one of the players in the NBA that need to touch the ball to feel like that they should need to give effort. I'm the same way. When I play basketball, I need the ball. If I'm going to get rebound after rebound, block after block, and I'm going to go on the other side, and the only time I'm touching the ball is off a rebound, I'm not going to give much effort either on defense or offense. And what Mike Brown has done to unlock Karl Anthony Towns in Game 4 of the NBA playoffs, it was getting Cat involved and playing through Cat as much as possible. Just touching that ball gives you energy. And every time he caught it, it worked. Every time he caught it, it worked. It got him motivated. It got him ready to play basketball. And this version of Karl Anthony Towns not only deserves Finals MVP after 2 games, but just look at the playoffs. Just look at the play. He's been better than Brunson all playoffs long. Yes, Brunson has his moments. Brunson had his moment in the fourth quarter of Game 1. Brunson had his moment bringing back that comeback Game 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But Karl Anthony Towns throughout the playoffs, Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, and the Finals, it has been Karl Anthony Towns. Brunson, of course, has the biggest moments where he rises to the occasion. But Cat, for 3 quarters out of these games, every game, it's been Cat. All of that to say, offensively, forget about offensively. Let's say Cat didn't go and get 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Let's say he didn't get any of that. Let's say he didn't score at all. Let's say that. Even without scoring, the defense that he has performed on Victor Wembanyama has been unbelievable. And you know what? Scratch what I just said. It's been more than believable because he's done this all playoffs long this year. This is the most committed I've seen Karl Anthony Towns play defense for any stretch of his entire career. This is the best this is the best version of Cat I have ever seen. And no, TikTok, Wemby is not overrated at all. I've said it time and time again all season long, and I know you guys can vouch for me. The perfect build to limit Victor Wembanyama in year 3 is exactly what Karl Anthony Towns is. That's the build. Out-muscle him, out-strength him. You don't need to out-jump him. Just out-muscle him. That is the exact build that allows Wemby to get locked up. That's the exact build. Now, there was a guy in my watch party last night that took what I said about Victor Wembanyama and completely misconstrued it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have been watching me throughout the season, there's been a trending topic of discussion that I always bring up. And some people get very aggravated by me saying it. But I'm going to say it yet again because I've said it all year long. Victor Wembanyama, his best skill is being tall. And now it seems like Twitter is finally catching on. Twitter always catches up late. But when Twitter gets one viral tweet about somebody, then everybody just starts vomiting it out of their mouths. And then the takes get crazier and crazier. By me saying that Wemby's biggest strength is being the tallest guy on the court, I don't mean that as an insult. But people take it that way. I've said all year long, he has 0 go-to moves. I've said it all year long. His best skill on the basketball court is being tall. And when your best skill is being something and it's a physical attribute, it can only take you so far in the playoffs. I bring you Jalen Duren. His single strength this year was out-muscling everybody. And yeah, you can out-muscle centers in the regular season. It's the regular season. That's why you have Jalen Duren going for 25 and 15 almost every night. That's why you had Jalen Duren averaging 31 points and 14 rebounds in the games that Cade was out. You can out-muscle guys in the regular season. And then you saw what happened in the playoffs. Wendell Carter Jr., Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. Now let's look at Wemby's case. You can out-tall everybody in the regular season. You can. But when it comes playoff time, and you've been averaging 25 minutes a game all regular season, and then you get asked to play 40 minutes a game, and once again, your biggest attribute is being tall. What more can you ask of Victor Wembanyama? He's 22 years old, right? I'm not going to go as far as to say, like, I already know what Pistons fans would be saying if they made the finals this year. Oh, it's okay that we're down 2-0. We're ahead of schedule. It's okay. We're playing with house money. Blah, 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 blah. You made it here. That excuse does not last anymore. You beat the defending champions while hurt. You beat the defending champions. You beat the defending two-time conference finalists. And you beat another young team, and now you're up against the team that I called making it out of the Eastern Conference before the season even started. Once you make it to the finals, that house money spiel goes out the window. You proved to the world that you're good enough. You proved to the world that you wanted enough. So San Antonio Spurs fans, I know you're going to cope and say that we got here early. We got here early. It's no big deal. We got here early. We're playing with house money. You got there is the point. And now that you got there, you celebrated before it was over. Now, I got to keep talking about the New York Knicks, okay? I'm going to say this, and it means absolutely nothing. So if you see anybody on Twitter talking about it, let them be happy. Let them be happy. And by the way, I'm not trying to undersell the San Antonio Spurs for how far they made it. It's been an incredible season. It's been an incredible season. He's 22 years old. The team is incredibly young. They've had an incredible season, right? You don't need them to win to have a successful season. The issue is making the finals is never guaranteed, right? Now I got to talk about this so importantly, right? Victor Wembanyama does not suck, because a guy in my Discord watch party last night came in and said, "Yeah, this is why I say the West is weak. The West is weak. Look at the centers they have out there." And I said, hold on. Who? Jokic, Wemby, and Gobert? What are you talking about? And he said, the centers in the East would body Wembanyama. That's what you're seeing right now. And I said, bro, what are you talking about? He took what I said and amplified it 10 times over. And that's what Twitter has already done. Once they found out, I don't know why it took him so long, that Wemby doesn't have a bag. Yet. Everything I say is not yet. He was out here saying that Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Duren, Bam Adebayo are all better than Victor Wembanyama. Now, I'm going to teach you guys something very simple and basic, right? Something very basic. It's an M word as in mom. It's called matchups. I've talked about matchups all year long. I've talked about how the Pistons matched up perfectly against the New York Knicks. I've talked about how the Knicks match up perfectly against the Spurs. I've talked about how the Spurs matched up perfectly against the Thunder. I've talked about how the Wolves match up perfectly against the Nuggets. I've talked about all this. Matchups. Matchups are important. The Magic matched up perfectly against the Pistons. The Cavs matched up perfectly against the Pistons. Matchups are what matters in the playoffs. That's how teams go far. And when matchups are a key thing in playoff basketball, and when you have the literal archetype, the literal build in Karl-Anthony Towns that matches up perfectly against Victor Wembanyama, why are you surprised? I was most surprised about how people were just writing the Knicks off before the series started. I said, hold on, y'all. I think you guys can remember. I picked Spurs in 7 because I was like, yeah, they made it here. They made it here. They made it here. They want it more. But I said Spurs in 7 because I knew the Knicks. And I remember even telling y'all, I'm going to regret not taking the Knicks, because seeing people write them off, seeing people talk about them as if they think that they're a weak team. Ladies and gentlemen, this weak team, if they go on to sweep the Spurs, this is a team that I'm going to be talking about when I'm 50. This is a team I'm going to be talking about if I'm alive when I'm 60. This is going to be the best playoff run in NBA history other than the Golden State Warriors in 2017 with Kevin Durant. If they win 15 straight, which they've won 13 straight in the playoffs now, if they win 15 straight, guys, this is not a team that you're going to overlook. Oh, they went through a weak Eastern Conference. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. What national media broadcast have you ever seen pick the Knicks over the Spurs? The fact that the Knicks were an underdog no matter who they were up against in the finals is enough. The fact that nobody was picking them, that's enough. And speaking of enough, right? I think it's time that I talk about what I saw exactly from the New York Knicks last night. And it's exactly as I predicted. There was a gentleman that came into my chat. By the way, if you guys are enjoying today's stream, TikTokers, be sure to come through to the Purple app. That's Jay-Z Uncut on the Purple app. Link in my bio. I don't really read the TikTok, so if you guys want to talk with me and interact with me and hang out with me and the rest of my community, be sure to come through to the Purple app. That's Jay-Z Uncut on the Purple app. The link is in my bio. The name and logo are right there. I got to talk about this. The New York Knicks, and I've been preaching this before the series started. I hate keep saying that, but I do have to take pride in how much basketball I really know. There was a guy that came into my stream and said, "You know no ball. You don't know ball. The Spurs are the deepest team in the playoffs." And I looked at that message and I highlighted it. I pinned it. I wanted everybody to see him. Right? It's sort of like when people put a clown on the stage and we're all there to make fun of him. And I wanted everybody to make fun of him for me because they weren't even the deepest team in their conference. And I've talked about it. I've said plenty of times, the Knicks are the deepest team in the playoffs. I said that over the Thunder. The Knicks are the deepest team in the playoffs. I want to show you how deep they really are, okay? For the last 15 games, Mikal Bridges is shooting 72% from true shooting. 72% true shooting. For this series so far, you have 4 players who are averaging over 70% true shooting. 4 players shooting 70% true shooting. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Landry Shamet. You have 4 guys plus 70% shooting. Their point guard, their superstar, who I predicted would have a bad series. You guys remember. I said Wemby limits his play style. Yes, Mikal is going to keep it up. Thank you for the follow on the Purple app, Dylan and Carnation. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to you guys. Be sure to join the Discord as well now that you guys came through to the Purple app. Much love. Mikal's been doing it for the last 15 games. Why would he not keep it up? He's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable. Now, I got to talk about another thing. Their superstar, their point guard, he's shooting 34% from the field right now. 34% from the field in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what 34% is on how many shots he's taken? Jalen Brunson is 17 for 56 from the field. 17 for 56 from the field. And guess what? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. They're shutting Brunson down. They can't shut anybody else down. Anybody else. Unless you count Jose Alvarado going 0 for 4, which I'm not counting. I'm not quite sure people understand what they're watching. I want you guys to picture this. Picture this. I love this comment. DJC came into the Twitch stream and said, "I forgot how brain dead TikTok chat was. I was there for 15 seconds and I had to leave." Shout out to you guys that are leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate y'all very much. Keep doing that. I got to talk about a big detail here, man. I got to talk about a huge, ginormous detail. Could you guys imagine the Pistons made the finals? Cade would have a bad series. He would have a bad series because every point guard that is prolific from mid-range has a bad series against Victor Wembanyama. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pistons would get swept. The Pistons would lose on average by 30 points if you shut down Cade. Now you look at the Knicks and their point guard is shut down. It doesn't matter. Last night was their game to lose. In fact, I said during that comeback, during the watch party, you guys remember, I said, if the New York Knicks end up choking this game, because that's exactly what happened. In case you guys weren't watching, the Spurs were up double digits with like 6 minutes left. De'Aaron Fox scored 5 points straight. Wemby scored a bunch of points straight. They got back into the game. They were in the game. And now let me paint you this picture. They had all the momentum in the world. Mitch Johnson called a timeout. The dumbest timeout I think I've seen live in many, many years. He called a timeout. That killed all their momentum. The play that Mitch Johnson decided to draw up was a Victor Wembanyama mid-range shot over Mitchell Robinson. First of all, he has beat Mitchell Robinson to the hoop every single time he's taken him. Every single time he's taken him. Why do you settle for a mid-range jumper there, Victor Wembanyama? Next play down the court. They get a stop. They get a stop, a crucial stop. Victor Wembanyama gets the rebound. Passes it out. Or sorry, they didn't get a stop. Was it OG Anunoby that made the free throws? No, that was before. They get a stop. And they're up 2. Victor Wembanyama gets the rebound, drives. And honestly, I don't know how I can describe it other than just showing y'all. He got the ball, got the rebound, looked forward, sees Stephon Castle running out for the outlet pass, looks at him, throws the ball to Stephon Castle, and Stephon Castle was turned in the opposite direction. Ball bounces off his back. Jalen Brunson is in there, read the pass to a T. Brunson gets fouled. It was tied. Brunson hit 1 free throw. Knicks up 1 because of this play. And then the play you draw up is a De'Aaron Fox pick and pop with Victor Wembanyama. Now, I would like to say this. First of all, Jet Up, thank you so much for the follow on the Purple app. I appreciate you. Let's just paint the picture with this play that was called, okay? If you want to do a pick and pop with a 7'5" player, which in my opinion, I'm not allowing Fox to shoot that shot with Mikal Bridges on him. So get that out of your head. It was going to Wembanyama. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was going to Victor Wembanyama. What Wemby did wrong here is take this extra step in. You should have stayed out at this 3-point line. You're wide open right here. Instead, he steps in to Mitchell Robinson. And now here's the issue. You have one of 2 things. There's 3 seconds on the clock. Instead of doing a pump fake and just taking a step back, or a pump fake and a floater or something, Mitchell Robinson had to jump here. There was only 2 seconds left. You have to jump. Mitchell Robinson jumps. He takes a contested mid-range, and he misses the shot. They lose the game. I'm not saying he should have drove. I'm not saying any of that. If you wanted to pick and pop, you have the 3-pointer right here. There wasn't going to be a shot more cleaner than this, especially because you hit your last couple threes. You should not have stepped in. Now, if you break it down, the last 2 shots Victor Wembanyama took in this game were both contested mid-range shots over Mitchell Robinson. Both of them. Both of them. And when you break this whole game down, I said that if the Knicks end up choking this game, this is going to be one of those games like the Patrick Ewing missed layup in Game 7 back in the day. Some Knicks fans are getting flashbacks from that right now. This was going to be one of those games that you look back at and say, why couldn't we just have held that double-digit lead? Why? Why couldn't we have held that lead? Why? And this game was going to haunt a lot of Knicks fans' nightmares for years and years and years to come. Because then it's a series. 1-1. It's a series. Instead, well, this game's going to be a nightmare for the San Antonio Spurs fans. It's going to be a nightmare for a long, long time. I must have jinxed it. And now it's going to be a nightmare for the Spurs. Now listen, you're seeing tweets, and I gotta respond to this immediately. You're seeing tweets. Allen Iverson never made it back. Reggie Miller never made it back. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. None of those guys were 7'5", so shut up. None of them were 7'5". I don't care. I don't care. Now, I'm going to say something. There's 350 of you guys in the TikTok. Who knew Saturday streams would be that goated? Guys, if you want an uninterrupted, entertaining, fun, charismatic, and a great community, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on the Purple app, okay? I know some of you guys don't like ads. Be sure, if you watch 3 Purple app streams in a row, I will personally gift you a $6 subscription so you do not get any ads over here on Twitch. So be sure to come on through. Now, The end of this game was full on inexperience. What we saw was inexperience. The dumb timeout for Mitch Johnson, the dumb play call by setting up Wembanyama for a mid-range shot, and then another turnover from Victor Wembanyama off of Stephon Castle's back, who I blame. The point guard should not be running away from your center in that moment in time. And then another play call for Wembanyama to shoot another mid-range shot. I'm sorry, that midi is not falling. That midi has not been falling. And something I've been talking about all year long is Wembanyama just needs one go-to move. One. Kareem made a career out of the sky hook. Dwight Howard had one go-to move. It was either dunk or a baby hook. All you need is one move. One. That's it. You can't just dunk your way through the playoffs. You need one go-to move. You need something. And he'll develop that. I'm not worried about Wemby. But here's the thing. Now I am worried about Wemby and the Spurs. Because in case you guys don't know, no team has ever come back and won in the finals after dropping both their games at home. Ever. Not one team. Now, 5 teams, on the contrary, for Spurs fans, so you can have some copium, so that you guys can have some hope left. 5 teams in the NBA Finals have come back down 2-0 in the finals and won. But no team has gone down 0-2 at home and come back to win the NBA Finals. I would like to mention one of those 5 teams that were up 2-0 and ended up losing in the NBA Finals. Well, Mikal Bridges was on one of those teams. The Phoenix Suns in 2021, when they were up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks and then proceeded to lose 4 straight against the Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks. Now, the contrary to that is that the Suns won both games at home. I don't think that's going to happen again, y'all. This is different. You just dropped both games at home. Now, I'm not one to say it's over. I'm not one to do that. So I'm not going to do that. But I will say, if you lose game 3, it's safe to say it's OVO, like Drake. You're not coming back down 3-0. All this came down to, and you know what? You know why the Knicks are the perfect champions here? You know why they're the perfect champions? They took their lumps. They took their punches. They took their lumps. They took their punches. They took their failures to the throat, and they came back, and now they're up 2-0. They lost. They lost the next year. They lost the next year, and now they're here in the finals. Almost every single team that has won a championship needed to take those steps in some way, shape, or form. They always got to take those steps to get to the championship. I'm so excited for game 3. I hope you guys are as well. And I would like to state, I said it yesterday, whoever wins the Cat Wemby matchup is going to win this game. And Cat even said something very, very fun. Very fun. And honestly, I'm loving everything Cat is bringing to the table. Cat was screaming, he can't, I think it's going to censor on the TikTok. So he's saying he can't fuck with me. He can't fuck with me. And that is what you need as an NBA champion. That's what you need. You need heart. You need motivation. You need ambition. And you got to show emotion. You have to. You got to show all those things at once. Now, if you guys want to break this game down to something super simple, because I haven't been reading the box score because you saw exactly what you needed, I'll mention a couple things. But if you guys need any indication as to who won this game, right? By the way, Jonah, thank you so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I'm going to go ahead and end the TikTok. There's still 200 of y'all over there in the TikTok. If you guys want to watch the rest of this breakdown, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. I'm going to end the TikTok a little bit earlier. If you guys want to watch the rest of today's show, be sure to come through to the Twitch. That's Jay-Z Uncut. I hope to see the 150 of you guys come through to the Twitch where we're talking, we're hanging out, and I'd love to see you guys come through. Remember, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will personally gift you a $6 subscription over here so you no longer get ads. Hope to see you guys come through to the Twitch. The show is still going on. So let's continue. To break down this game as simple as possible, right? You got to look at 3 stats. You guys have heard me talk about this day after day, game after game, week after week, month after month. It comes down to 3 stats, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? The team that won this game dominated in all 3 and dominated in all 3 stats. Okay? Now, if the Knicks would have lost this game, if they were to actually choke this game away, because they did, this would be an anomaly. This would be an anomaly, ladies and gentlemen. This would be, if the Spurs somehow won, a 1 in a 100 opportunity of happening. Guys, the Knicks made more for 3-pointers. The Knicks got more rebounds. And guess what? The Knicks also they committed less turnovers than the Spurs. They swept my 3 X factors. And what do I say? If you manage to get 2 of those X factors, chances are you won that game. Ladies and gentlemen, they swept the 3 X factors you need to win a playoff game. Is that not incredible? Is that not incredible? And they still almost lost. They almost proved my entire theory inaccurate. It's been valid all playoffs. And I'm just happy to say, that this is going to be a very, very entertaining game 3. Everything's on the line. Everything is built up to this. Nico, thank you for dropping a follow and coming through to the Twitch stream, bro. Welcome. Wemby is soft. Yes, he's 22. He's 22. He's tired. And I think we can all agree. OG Anunoby dunking on Wemby. Cat dunking on Wemby. He's 22. He's 22 years old. And he's just going to get better. He will get better. I'm not worried about Wembanyama. What I am worried about is New York. And not because I think that they're going to lose. Yeah, I'm worried about the city of New York. The actual city. I think people are going to start climbing the Empire State Building. I think people are going to start climbing the Statue of Liberty. I think the entire city is going to be a mess. And I'm worried. And by the way, Mark, my Magic fan, that is an incredible statement. It is a must-win for both teams. The series is not over. And Knicks fans are not going to be celebrating the way that you expect them to be celebrating. Because all of them deep down, they're saying, we have to go up 3-0. 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 Look at my Pistons, man. Look at my Pistons. They were up 2-0. They needed to win game 3. And they crumbled at the end. They needed to win that. It will be a series if the Spurs win. I don't care that it's an away game. It's not over. And what Mikal Bridges said after the game, always stay desperate. You have to. You have to. Benji, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you, bro. Now, I want to talk about one more thing about the game. Box scores, right? People want to talk about that, Benji. Give me 1 second. Because I'm going to make fun of a whole group of people. All right? Josh Hart had 0 points. He was in foul trouble all night. Cat, foul trouble all night. Managed to get 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of them offensive rebounds, by the way. 1 steal, 1 block. He was 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from deep. OG Anunoby, 50% from the field, 17 points. 4 stocks. Mikal Bridges, 8 for 13, 4 for 6 from 3, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. Jalen Brunson, 7 for 25, but he had 20 points. Landry Shamet, 13 points. Deuce McBride, 5 points. Mitchell Robinson, 7 points. Jose Alvarado, 2 points. The thing is, right? Sometimes playoff basketball is as simple as it can get. When only one guy on your bench is viable to play in Dylan Harper, what do you expect to do in the NBA Finals? You have one guy on the bench. One guy. Keldon Johnson, the worst 6-man of all time. I'm not hesitating when I say that, and I'm not going to take that back. He begged for it. He got it. The worst 6-man of all, since I can remember. The worst 6-man. A 6-man that's unplayable in the playoffs. They have no bench, and depth wins playoff games. Depth wins finals games. Now, I've been saving this topic for the final one, right? And I've seen that tweet as well, Sauce. I'll mention that. In fact, I'll mention that right before. If Cat gets finals MVP, is Becky Hammon still wrong? Listen, their whole game plan is to eliminate Jalen Brunson. That's their whole game plan. And they're doing it. Okay? They're doing it. Brunson, as we all know, is not a number 1. Brunson is a 1A. And Cat is a 1B. And the fact that Cat has been that great, it's allowed Brunson to just be a 1A. Regardless, this is Jalen Brunson's team. Even if he doesn't win Finals MVP, it will be a stain on his legacy to most, but it's still his team. And Becky is still wrong because Brunson is getting attacked. He is getting attacked. And they're still winning the games. So at the end of the day, shooting 17 for 56 in 2 games doesn't matter. All I see is 2 wins. Now, a topic of discussion that everybody in the TikTok was begging me to talk about. I'm saving it for last because I'm not a fucking loser. The officiating. I am never a guy to start a podcast to talk about officiating. That's boring. I'm not that guy. That's very boring. As rigged as everybody is saying it is, it was worse than that. Foul after foul. Cat had 1 dumb foul. 1. We can all agree he had 1 dumb foul. It was on the inbound pass in the first quarter. He basically jumped and prevented Cornette from landing properly. That was the 1 dumb foul that he got all game. Now, the biggest issue is that the fouls that they were calling were not fouls. They were just calling fouls to call fouls. Wemby was getting the honestly an incredible whistle. I was trying to tell everybody all year long that the Spurs do have a crazy whistle. The technical foul as well, absolutely egregious. Listen, y'all, all I have to say is the Knicks had to battle a lot this game, right? But if they lost this game, it wasn't the fouls that did it. Knicks fans, I know you guys can agree. If they had lost this game, it was not the fouls that did it. They were coming back without free throws. They were coming back, and the issue is Cat. So if you were to tell me it played a part in choking the game away, I'd believe that. But if you were to tell me that if you lost, it'd be purely because of officiating, I would say you're wrong. But with Cat going out of the game and them going on a run, definitely played a part, ladies and gentlemen. He had 5 fouls. Let's not forget that. People get on Oklahoma, and they get on Oklahoma like crazy, right? And in reality, the San Antonio Spurs also have the next NBA Golden Boy, and honestly, the more marketable NBA Golden Boy. Wemby's going to get those calls. The Spurs are going to get these calls. Even though they're not a champion, they're going to get these calls. That's just how that's how the NBA works, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this works. The NBA wanted to crown Wemby before he got the crown. And now they're realizing real quick that you just need the right matchup for Wemby, and there you go. Look at what you're up against. Look at what you're up against. Natum, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very much. Be sure to join the Discord, guys. ! Discord in the chat. Now, any other random notes that I have to share? Listen, Fox had a great game. He really stepped up. After all the disrespect after game 1, he had 20 points. He was 8 for 12 from the field. He was incredible. Now, again, Julian Champagnie one-upped himself from game 1. In game 1, he didn't score a single bucket in the second half. Guess what? In game 2, Champagnie didn't get a single bucket for the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So instead of going scoreless in 2 quarters in game 1, in game 2, he ended up going scoreless in the final 3 quarters of this game. You're not going to win a basketball game doing that. Vassell, honestly, hit a big 3 in this game. I'm not going to get on your back. You were really good last night. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. De'Aaron Fox, you had a great game. Stephon Castle, arguably one of the worst games I've seen from Stephon Castle in his entire career. That's not being a stretch. If you guys watch this game, don't just look at the box score. He was bad. It was bad everywhere. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1-to-1 turnover to assist ratio. He had 4 turnovers. He was a -6 on the court. He was 5 for 14, 2 for 4 from deep. Arguably the worst game I've seen from Stephon Castle. The lights look a bit bright. He looks a bit tired. I'm saving Wemby for last, of course. Percolis, thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. I hope you join the Discord. And then last but not least, bro, Dylan Harper is an incredible player. He's incredible. He's really, really good. Yeah, Castle also got hurt, but he was bad before his ankle got hurt. Dylan Harper, he continues to impress me. He just needs to learn how to shoot threes. And yeah, this kid is, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, plus 12 on the court. He was 6 for 12 from the field. Now everybody else, Keldon Johnson, 16 minutes, horrible. Luke Cornett, 8 minutes, horrible, I'm sorry. Harrison Barnes, 5 minutes, horrible. Carter Bryant, your one job this game was to intentionally foul Mitchell Robinson. That was your goal that your coach gave you. Now I want to read this comment from Natum. He said, this is what I was saying. The game would have been out of reach if the Knicks would have gotten fair calls. They had to be up by 15 to win by 1. Respectfully, they should have been up by about 20. I've been saying that the Spurs also get the same kind of whistle OKC gets. In the OKC series, there was a game which Tony Brothers reffed where they just stopped calling anything, and then eventually the game got out of hand. Everybody grabbing and pulling each other. Carter Bryant chucking SGA twice with no call. The refs need to take control of the game because the same thing happened last night. Had the Knicks lost last night, it's not on the refs. I have to be honest. I have no dog in this fight. Had the Knicks lost last night, it would not be on the refs. You need to be stronger mentally to overcome that. Now, if it was some crazy free throw discrepancy, right? But it was 6 free throws. The Spurs had 6 more free throws. If it was like the Pistons-Cavs series, then yes, you guys are allowed to cry and scream and bitch and moan. Because the Cavs had 100 more free throws than the Pistons in that series. And that's with your 6. Yeah, you're right. That is 6 Mitch fouls. Absolutely. You are right. Yeah, minus that. Okay, sure. Yeah, sure. Minus those 6. Agreed. But the thing is, quick right there in my Twitch chat, refs this, ref that, play better. This is why I save the officiating talk at the end of the game. Or sorry, at the end of the podcast. Because it's not important. It's not important. It didn't come down to that. The Knicks won. Who cares? There's no point in leading. The refs are unfair. You guys won the game. What more do you want? You guys wanted to win by more? Your team choked away the lead. I'm sorry. Be grateful for the win. Because you could, right now, you could be going back to New York, tied 1-1, and looking back at this game and saying this was the turning point of the series. Genuinely. I saw it happen with my Pistons. So, what it came down to in this game is just a simple word called experience. That's all it came down to. And the Knicks, they've taken their lumps, they've taken their hits, they've taken their punches, and that's why they're up 2-0. And guess what? Game 3 is a must win. Game 3 is an absolute must win. I also love how physical these games have been. Now, as you guys all know, I've been gassing this guy up all playoffs long, y'all. I've been gassing this guy all playoffs long. I'm happy to say my stud of the night last night was Karl Anthony Towns. Big Karl. I can't tell you how happy I am for Karl Anthony Towns. I cannot tell you how happy I am. Seeing his game take a complete 180. Cat is one of the most kind-hearted, down-to-earth individuals we have in the NBA. And my God, is he good at basketball. And here's the thing. Karl Anthony Towns is arguably, and I don't even think it's arguably, he's the best shooting big man in NBA history. Not the guy on the other side. With all due respect, Wemby. One move is all we need. If you had one go-to move, this series is flipped the other way, 2-0. My Knicks fans, you guys can agree to that. If Wemby knew one go-to move in the paint, they're up 2-0. It's that simple. But, as we all know, giving the ball to Wemby and saying, inshallah, is not the way you're going to win basketball games. Not at 22 years old. Give the ball to Wemby and please do something is not the strategy for a 22-year-old. It's not. It's not at all. Shout out Karl Anthony Towns, my stud of the night. In 34 minutes, plagued by foul trouble as well. 21 points, 13 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was a plus 11, which is the team high. Only 2 turnovers, 5 fouls, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the field. And ladies and gentlemen, in this series, he is shooting 56% from the field, 42% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. Karl Anthony Towns, if the series were to end today, is your finals MVP, and that's okay. Think about how poetic that'd be. I already can see the documentary right now. The big bodega, hated, ridiculed, insulted, clowned for 82 games all year long. And now the literal reason they're up 2-0 in this playoff matchup. And I don't want to undersell how great Mikal was. I don't want to undersell how great OG was. I don't want to undersell how great Jalen Brunson was in the fourth quarter of game one. But Karl Anthony Towns, I'm writing the documentary, my boy. I am writing the documentary as we speak. I love it, man. He's been the best player, arguably the best player all playoffs long. Not just for the Knicks. I'm talking about all of the teams. I'm going to read this comment and then I'm going to get out of here. I'll end the podcast. Percola said, the Spurs, as you correctly said, have no bench. Johnson and Cornette are unplayable. Fox contract is really bad moving on. And Carter Bryant still has to grow. Spurs need to move Champagnie to the bench from next season and add shooting and a proper backup center. Percolas? What can I say any better? What can I say better than what you... Percolas and everybody else, do you guys see the Discord link? Nadam, Benji, do you guys see the Discord link right there? And Shamit has been absolutely incredible. Do you guys see the Discord link right there? Join the Discord. I need basketball minds just like that in my Discord server where we do watch parties all the time. All right, so be sure to join the Discord. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, here I have the bell coming in and telling me that I got to go because I have a wedding meeting at 10 o'clock for our wedding, as you guys know. And don't worry, I've been keeping track of time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on that note, I told y'all today's podcast is going to be a little bit shorter. It's only 46 minutes, and we only had one game to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's podcast. This is rare that we do Saturday morning podcasts, but for game 2, if I waited till Monday, this shit's old news. So I'm glad I did it today, and I hope you guys are glad as well. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys did as well. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. YouTube, be sure to drop a like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And Twitch, be sure to stick around for just one moment. Guys, I got nothing left to say. Be sure to join the Discord server. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And join the Discord server. And thank you guys for watching / listening. And I'll see you guys Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. All right, everybody. Have a blessed weekend and go Knicks.